Okay, item number 8. This is getting down the exciting part of the project where you're about to hand over. So organise to pick up the handover folder from the office. This will include any documentation, warranties, spare keys, toolbox kit, flowers, champagne, and also the supervisor's final handover checklist. Now let's have a look at this folder. Now your admin person is to select one standard blue A4 size folder, print the client's name and details on the side of a binder. The folder should include the following items and will be presented to the client upon handover. It will have all copies of the architectural plans used for the project, laminated and inserted inside. You'll also have all copies of the engineering plans laminated and inserted inside. All copies of any surveying plans for the project, again laminated. Item 5, insert all copies of the certificates that were handed to council, so the client has a record of all those as well, laminated and inserted. Item 6, a copy of the signed quote printed off and inserted inside. Item 7, A4 colour prints of 5 or 10 before during photos so they can see how the job has progressed from the initial concept of the idea right through to completion. Now there will be final professional photos taken a little bit later on, but we'll touch on that later. Now if you don't want to print them out on paper, you can include them in a little CD and stick that inside there for their records as well. Item 8, now note while sorting through the before, during and after photos, prepare a file in the job photos called website. These will be given to our web designer for professional photos to be taken for our portfolio at the end of the project. You need to book a calendar reminder for when the web designer, usually 4 months time after the project's finished, to update this job onto your website. Just a little checklist of something to have a look at there. Now let's take a look inside the supervisor's final handover checklist. These are all the items that you're going to discuss with the client at the final meeting. Now if we go through it in detail, item 1, explain to the clients upon arrival what's going to happen at the meeting, which is going through this list and showing them how everything works in their house and how you're going to hand it over to them. So item 2, explain how lift-off hinges work if applicable for the project. Any privacy latches, show how to open from the outside. Explain how sometimes a large floor waste that holds water can become dry and smelly at times, so how to get rid of that if the gully dries out in the bathroom. It's usually just pouring a little bucket of water down. Item 5, show how windows can lift out and clean inside and install fly screens or take fly screens on and off. Show how kitchen drawers may lift in or out. Show how to adjust kitchen doors if any movement takes place. Check all doors and show how they latch properly. Talk about how handles can come loose from time to time. Explain to the client that they have a 13 weeks defects liability period, which covers all maintenance. So if they find any minor problems during that 13 weeks from handover, they're to note them down and we come back in one block period and rectify all those items, whether it's over 2 days or 2 weeks, depending on what items arise. And you can put down there the date that's going to be established from that handover date. Advise the client of any final council inspections that may have taken place or may still need to take place. Give copies of all the relevant certificates to the clients at that meeting, which should normally be included in the handover folder. Advise clients of water main location. If there's ever a problem, they need to turn the water off. Show the clients where the meter board is and how any earth leakage circuit breakers work. Explain operation and maintenance if required for panel lift garage doors. Maybe they need to contact the manufacturer if a problem arises outside of what you've shown them. Explain about how the pest control system works, how wheat bowls should not be covered up within gardens, pine and bark. And show the position of if there's a sticker for regular inspections, which would normally be located inside the meter board, and how it's their responsibility every 6 months to 12 months to maintain that termite system. Explain the installation of smoke detectors, that they're hardwired and also battery backed up. If they start to chirp, it may mean that the battery's going flat. It's time to replace that. Explain how some movement can occur under sinks and basins, and sometimes pipe work may need to be tightened from time to time. Explain how any non-standard light globes may work if applicable. Show the clients where any labelled touch-up paint is located and any spare tiles or materials that may be left over for any maintenance items. Present a gift to the homeowner of a toolbox kit or flowers or wine, depending what you have. Sometimes you might put together like a little tackle box size box that has some spare light globes, maybe some little screwdrivers, just any odds and ends that you may think could come in handy for a homeowner to have laying around the house. That's what sets you out from, I guess, other builders. Giving them some sort of little gift at the end might be quirky. It's just something to present them so that they feel like they're getting something, some sort of closure at the end of the project. Advise the clients what the next stages will be after the defects liability period is completed. And for us, that would be the photographer coming out maybe 4 weeks after all those works are completed, just to take some professional photos and get them so that you can use them for our website. And the last thing would be advising the client that we'll send them a client testimony form that they can complete and fill out. And if they don't mind us using that on our website in conjunction with the completed photos, and that just gives you another project that you can add to your website for a bit of credibility. After all those items are completed and discussed, sign that off, and that forms part of our handover completed.